know you're somewhere.
Hi Libra, welcome to my channel. My name is Kim. Today Libra, I'm going to be doing a reflection for you guys for the end of the year. So the archetype that you guys got was the animal. And I really like this card because I feel like it could have been where you've been this year and what you've been doing this year. For some of you guys, you're just barely hitting the surface and they want you to go even deeper into this archetype. But I feel like a lot of you guys have been exploring this side of yourself, and maybe you guys haven't necessarily understood what's been going on with you. It's reminding me of yesterday. Yesterday there was a moon in Cancer. The moon was in Cancer. The sun in Sag, and I remember looking at like an astrology chart, and they were like, you're gonna feel like this hunger today. Like if you guys like to cook, you're gonna want to cook, and if you guys like to eat, you're gonna want to eat. And it was just so funny because I actually was like exactly in that mode. Like I wanted to bake a cake, then like at 12 p.m. at night, like the day before, I'm like, man, I really want to eat like cake. I really want to make a cake. Then the next day I'm like, man, I really want to bake a cake. I want to make some biscuits. Like I do bake, but I'm not someone who bakes like all the time because it's a lot of work, and I just don't do it as much as I used to. And it was just so funny because I was like very much in that mode. And here I feel like with the animal, this was the mode you were in, but a lot of you guys didn't understand where it was coming from. Like, and then I understood where it was coming from. Like, oh, the moon's in Cancer, sun's in Sagittarius. That's the combination, and there's a lot of shit going on astrologically, and that's maybe why I'm feeling this way. And I feel like with the animal coming out, a lot of you guys have been exploring this archetype without knowing it. It talks about being like one with yourself, but the life force of yourself that is like the animalistic, wild, vital self. And I feel like a lot of you guys may not have really liked it or enjoyed it at first, because I feel like animalistic nature is very tricky. When you think about it, when you think about it, it's very simple, right? This animalistic nature, but it can get very complicated quickly. And I feel like a lot of you guys, if you hadn't, I feel like this is something you need to know. Like this was the archetype you were working with this year. And for a lot of you guys, they want to push it further for you guys. So it's like you've only touched the surface of this life force within you. Some of you guys maybe have completed it. Some of you guys might just be beginning it. I'm getting that you're like in the middle of the journey. Like there's always more to know, right? There's always more to know. But I feel like for the most part, a lot of you guys have been here for the year. So what is like this archetype mean? It basically means with connecting with that part of yourself that does not care about social constructs. It doesn't care about like being inside and looking at a computer screen. It's the one that wants to be out, in a tent, just looking at the stars. It's the one that wants to be out, like, jumping into the river. It's the one that wants to be very physical and, enjoy the food that they're eating. Enjoy sex, right? Like I feel like sex is a big part of this as well. Very much being comfortable in that part of yourself, in this animalistic nature of yourself. And I feel like a lot of you guys, we're talking about Libra, right? And I feel like Libra, for some of you guys, I feel like this was easy, and for some of you guys, I feel like this was difficult. But again, I was saying it gets complicated. I feel like it could get complicated very quickly being in this energy, but it's definitely an energy, like this wild energy is something that it's a part of you, and it needs to come out, and it needs to be a part of you every day. I feel like it's not the only part of you, but it's a part of you that you needed to tap into and to explore. So I feel like for a lot of you guys, that's like the message that you had to know. And for some of you guys, you barely touched the surface, and you will go further. But for now, I feel like you're kind of done with this. So let's pull more on this, Libra. So yeah, this is exactly what I was getting. It's not even like being in hermit mode, because hermit mode is like going within, but you are going within to a certain aspect of yourself that maybe some of you guys have never explored fully. Again, like that really physical, sexual, primal part of yourselves. Like I feel like a lot of you guys, again, if you're saying, well, I wasn't like that this year, then that's what I'm saying, where you need to explore it further. You need to go deeper into it. Like you were not maybe all those times that maybe you're like, oh yeah, like I want to take a trip, or just wanting to be spontaneous, or just wanting to be free, or just wanting to do something a little bit like not planned. I'm getting just something like that just came impulsively to you. A lot of you guys either did it or didn't do it. So again, like you're gonna fall onto either side of this, where it's like you've kind of mastered this part of yourself and now you're done with it. And some of you guys, again, you haven't really touched the surface because they wanted you to leave shit behind this year. And I feel like a lot of it had to do with like the societal, like again, like there's so many parts of us, and I feel like the animal doesn't cater to like society, like that primal part of you, that instinctual part of you. It doesn't cater to like what society wants, or like I feel like this is somebody who like doesn't comb their hair maybe one day and doesn't really give a fuck, or didn't shave their legs and is like, oh well, I don't really care. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, not really giving a fuck anymore about certain things that maybe you put a lot of value into the past. And again, it depends on you. Like, how far did you explore this archetype this year? Did you go like ham into it, or did you ignore it? Did you ignore the impulses that your body was telling you? For a lot of you guys, you mastered it. And for a lot of you guys, I feel like you're not done yet. So you're going to fall on either side. I feel like this was to help you guys, whether you know it or not, move on from a lot of things, a lot of burdens that life gives you and you hold on to when you should be letting them go. And I feel like only the animal part, like this instinctual, animalistic part of you can really understand that. Like how important it is to move forward. Think about an animal. If an animal stays stuck, an animal probably won't survive. You know what I mean? And the animal world can actually be like very cruel. Like if you think, I mean, I hate to bring this up, but I'm thinking about like something I saw. I saw like this YouTube channel of this. I'm sure you guys have seen it. It's like this lady. She has like a sheep farm. And there's like a sheep giving birth, and like the shoulder was stuck, you know, and if she wasn't there, like maybe the baby would have died, you know, maybe the mom would have died. Like if a human wasn't there to help, the baby would have died. Like, and that's just the reality of like the animal, you know, planet. Like it's very harsh. And I think that's something that I think you're getting to know, or that's something that you were supposed to know from this archetype. Like, the only way an animal survives is through instinct, and it's also through like that. Again, if they don't have that primal instinct, they won't survive. So I'm also thinking, I feel like a lot of animals do this. Like it's either like me or the kid, or it's me or, you know, like there's mothers rejecting their youth because there might not be, or that some mothers have to pick one or the other. Like they can't raise two, and they always leave one to die. Like I know there's so many different animal like types of animals that do all these things, and again, all of it is like a means to survival. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate, and we think about it and we're like, oh my god, it's so sad. And I mean, it is very fortunate that we're there to help them, but a lot of the times humans don't help animals, and you know that. So again, like it's a 50-50. But I am getting like this archetype was supposed to teach you something about not only like the primal instinct, not only all that stuff, but something about like the harshness, the reality of like how harsh life can be. So it's like a beautiful thing, because there's this very big beauty connected to the animal, but there's also this very big harsh energy connected to it as well. And maybe this cycle has helped you become more harsh in maybe the way you deal with people. Maybe you're seeing through people a lot clearer. Like I think of an animal. Think of like a cat, right? Like if a cat doesn't like somebody, they don't like somebody. They don't give a fuck about. There's no explaining that needs to be done. If they don't like you, they don't like you. They'll scratch you and they'll leave you. You know what I mean? Or if they feel fear, they'll scratch you just because, you know, they want to make sure you're going to stay away, or they want to make sure they protect themselves. Like it's very simple, like dealing with an animal at times. Like it's very like, why does a cat scratch me? Well, you either made it, like maybe it was in fear, maybe it just doesn't like you. You know what I mean? There's so many answers to the question, but the cat doesn't give a fuck, right? It doesn't ask or, you know, it doesn't ask or try to figure out how you're feeling or if you're okay. It just moves on. And I feel like that's something that was very much something that needs to be learned with this cycle. Again, have you delved into this cycle completely? Like, have you been that person that you've wanted? I feel like all these urges have been coming up this year, and if you haven't been paying attention to it, then again, you're going to get a chance to do it in the year to come. But again, some of you guys are completing it, some of you guys are not, depending on who you are, but this was something you're supposed to learn. And this is not something you can learn by just watching my read. Like, you have to be in this energy. Yeah. You see what I mean? The Magician's in reverse, but the King of Pentacles is upright. So it's like, life can have like a crazy, spiraling, crazy energy, and you're still stable as fuck. And that's what I think that's what this archetype can really teach you. Like, another thing that it could teach you is like not to really, it's not about dependency, but not to really expect the life to be fair and expect life to go the way it was supposed to be planned and expect things to be like exactly how you want them to be. It will never go that way. But if you really learn this lesson, so I feel like there's a lot of levels to this lesson of this archetype, but if you really learned it, then anything could happen and you're gonna be like a fucking stone. Like, nothing can move you, nothing can budge you. So again, really depends. Again, this is all the things that I feel like this was supposed to teach you. And I love how we have the Empress out here, which is you, Libra, with the line, taming the line, because this is like you with your animal spirit basically being hand in hand, one in one, accepting one another. And I feel like there's a lot of levels to this, like not only in what it was supposed to teach you, but what it also taught you about yourself. Like, these are the life lessons, but what did it teach you about who you are? What type of person that you are? But yeah, see, I feel like a lot of you guys learned to let things go this year. 5 of Wands, 4 of Pentacles in reverse, Queen of Wands, and then we have the Emperor with Temperance. Yeah, exactly. A lot of you guys, and I feel like a lot of you guys, if you haven't learned this lesson, then you still, like, I feel like Queen of Wands would be upright if you had learned the lesson. So some of you, again, they keep telling me that you haven't learned it. So I feel like some of you guys haven't really gone into this energy, and maybe some of you guys are afraid. And that's another thing. It's reminding me of like Alice in Wonderland, like when she goes down the hole, she's afraid, but she goes down, right? Like, she makes that choice. A lot of you guys, this has to be like a conscious effort, like, to go into this archetype. So yeah, Libra, I love it. Let's pull you some blessings. So yeah, Libra, I feel like at the end of this, if you finish this like cycle, if you finish this archetype, if you do the work, and it's fun because I feel like the animal, it's not really supposed to be hard. You know what I mean? For some of us, it's hard because it's not in our nature to be spontaneous or be primal or just do things that we want to do. We feel like we have to just do things that we have to do, right? But if you could really get into this energy, you evolve into another like state. That's what I'm getting. With the blessing of air, that's you. Like, you're an air sign, right? And with the blessing of the air, this is like a blessing on your entire sign. You know what I mean? Like, your entire being, right? You are like an air element, and they're blessing you with like this gift. It's like, I feel like graduation in a sense, right? And a blessing on a home. Like, this is like the home within you, right? So like, again, you won't, I'm getting like so many things will change in your life if you were able to like go through this archetype. Like, if you're able to really like get yourself out there, do the things that you really want to do, not the shit that you feel like you have to do, wear the shit that you want to wear, not the shit that you feel like you should wear. Just like really being your fucking self, and this part of yourself that you've never really maybe even explored. Some of you, like, I get a lot of groups of Libras, like some of you guys I feel like would never do certain things that others of you would. So I feel like, again, we're dealing with all types of Libras, but at the end of the day, the lessons were all supposed to teach you how to be at home with yourself, and again, to bless you on your journey for like having completed this. And again, I already talked about what you'd gain from this, like what's the advantages of it, but there's so much more. Imagine feeling at home no matter like what happened, like not necessarily needing to find it anywhere, but finding it within yourself. Like, that's something that people struggle to find their entire lives, and I feel like this archetype can help you guys specifically with that. So maybe like loneliness and codependency and feeling like you need others would go away if you were able to like explore this archetype the way that you should. So yeah, that's what I'm getting, Libra. I love you guys. I hope this helped, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.